Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today, it is like summertime here in Wisconsin. It's like 40 degrees outside, so I figured I'm going to come out to the storage unit and I'm going to get the Mustang up and running. So I've been having some issues with the car. I did kind of briefly talk about them in the last few videos. I was having an issue where the car was running like pig rich. It was like 10.0. Would not come off 10.0 on the gauge, and it was just running really rich. So what the problem was is I forgot to put the map sensor back in the intake, and it was actually in my truck. So I swapped out the map sensors, and I finally put a map sensor back in it. Came back out here last night and fired it up, and it was running 14.7 on the wideband, sitting at idle, but it had a misfire for some reason. So I went through and I checked to see what cylinders were misfiring, and I pulled the coils on a few cylinders, and there was 2 of them that weren't firing for some reason. And I went through, checked the spark, checked the fuel, checked the injectors, checked all this stuff, checked the map sensor. Everything was good. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell, is wrong with this thing. And I just said, screw it. I went home last night, didn't really think about it much. Came back out here today with the laptop because I figured, okay, if it's not something mechanical, it's got to be something in the tune with the cold weather. Because last time we drove this thing out at Union Grove, Wisconsin, and went 990 at like 143, we had the tune-up in it, but it was also like 45 degrees outside like it is today. So I came out here today, and the fucking thing runs fine. It runs perfect, no issues. I took it for a drive. I didn't really film any of it because, I don't know, I just wanted to spend some quality time with my car. But anyways, I got the car pulled outside and got it running really good again. So with the warmer weather, it runs totally fine. The ethanol in this thing, it was pretty low, so I actually drove it to the gas station and I filled up the tank so more moisture can't get in there or whatever. Maybe I had some moisture in the fuel or something along those lines, but I did add some fuel into the tune and it helped a great deal. So I think, with the colder weather, obviously the air is a little bit more dense, and the car is going to need a little bit more fuel with the added air that's in the air. You know what I mean? So same with like dirt bikes and stuff. Back in the day when I used to be into dirt bikes, like 2-strokes, you'd burn them up if you had summer jets in them when you went out ice racing. And if you had ice racing jets in it in the summertime, it would just bog out and go rich as shit. So kind of the same concept here, just a little bit more advanced, computer controlled. This car does have a Megasquirt 3 gold box, which does 8 injector, 8 coil, everything like that. So everything in the car is kind of top notch at this point. I rebuilt the thing at the end of last season. We went through this thing and put a 4.8 liter motor from I think it was a 07 van. This is like a 07 or 06, the last year before they went DOD, or like one of the years right before they went DOD. So it has the Gen 4 rods, but it's still technically a Gen 3. It has the Brian Tooley. It has a TIC Performance Turbo Stage 3 camshaft. I think it's it's their biggest turbo cam they offer. And then it's got BTR 660s with the titanium retainers, the dual springs in the head, ARP head studs, and Morel lifters, I believe. They're like the drop-in style lifter. They're a pretty nice lifter, supposedly. And yeah, I mean, this thing it fucking rocks, guys. This thing will scare the shit out of anybody. It has a billet 80 millimeter from VS Racing, the one on my website right now, the one capable of 1,000 horsepower. We have the big old fucking snail on it. Still has my homemade hot side and 3-inch intercooler piping kind of all the way around. It has Snake Eater 2200cc injectors, twin Bosch 044 fuel pumps, dash 10 feed line coming up, dash 6 going back with a Aeromotive eBay copy fuel regulator, 3.5-inch exhaust coming out the fender here. I don't know, it's pretty simple setup, guys. It doesn't have power steering or anything like that, but it does have alternator and water pump still, so that's kind of cool. It has a TH400 with a trans brake and a cheap Summit converter. It's like a 2800 to 3200 stall, they say, which I plan on upgrading soon whenever I get the funds. I want to get like a PTC turbo converter for this thing. Something that'll allow me to go on the trans brake higher in the RPM, something like 4,500. because at 3,500 RPM, this thing only builds like 5 pounds of boost, and it kind of sandbags out of the hole for the first split second, and then it takes off. You know, with that 990 pass, we only went like a high 1.5 60 foot, which isn't that good for this car. On the foot brake, or not on the foot brake, but on the old turbo setup, it went mid 1.4 to the 60 foot. And I think the converter getting up on the brake is a little bit harder with this larger turbo and the smaller displacement motor. All that kind of stuff is kind of coming into play here. So I think I've been playing with the two-step for the last couple months on this car to try to get it dialed in as best as I possibly can. And I mean, I got it a little better today, so I kind of wanted to show you guys how it sounds now on the two-step. I've been playing with the settings here and there, and it seems like whenever I pull timing and I go negative 20 or negative 30 or negative 40 degree timing, it hates its life. It literally just goes puh, 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 puh. It doesn't like it. If I put the timing at 0, like it doesn't pull any, or it only pulls to 0. I don't know exactly how it works on the Megasquirt, but if I set it at 0 and I set the fuel addition to like 7 milliseconds or whatever, and at 3,500 RPM, it sounds pissed. Like it pops, and you know, it pops and pops and pops, and then it comes up on the boost a little bit, but it still only builds 5-6 pounds of boost. But at least it sounds proper. You know what I mean? Like, you know, on a turbo car with the V8 turbo cars, when they come up on the trans brake, they want to be kind of pissed off and making horsepower on the trans brake, so when you let go of it, it's right there, you know. And I think honestly, if I can get this two-step dialed in with the same exact tune-up as it went on 990, it'll go 950s, I bet, with just getting it out of the hole a little better. So I've been working on that, and I've been working on some stuff here and there with the car. Like I said, I got kind of everything good, but another thing that I am kind of having an issue with is I was playing with the two-step out here in the parking lot for like 5-10 minutes, and the tranny got kind of warm, just, you know, testing it out here, 45 degree weather, and the tranny got up to like 220 just from sitting in the parking lot, sitting on the trans brake, which I know gets the tranny hot, but I mean, 5 minutes, guys, at 40 degree weather, it's kind of excessive. So I'm looking into a different transmission cooler. I know my buddy Daniel down south, he actually has a Ford Ranger with like the same kind of turbo setup and stuff like that, and he recommended a certain transmission cooler to me. It's an eBay cooler with -6 feed and return lines that are all braided, a little bit bigger diameter than what's currently on here. I think what I have on here right now is 5/16 hose, so I might have to upgrade to the 3/8 size hose and then get the larger cooler with a fan on the cooler. I think that will greatly help out in getting this thing cooler on the transmission side of things. Also, a different converter that doesn't slip as bad will also help with the tranny temps. But I'm thinking the lines and in the cooler, it's been on the car for a while, and I might have some like shit in the tranny cooler, or you know, there's air getting into the transmission system somehow, some way, because the pump whines on this thing really bad when it's cold, and then when it warms up, it doesn't whine as bad. It only whines when I really get into the power. Then the transmission pump starts to whine a little bit. And a lot of people say like, oh, a transmission whine on a TH400, that's totally normal. But the thing is it's never done it before I rebuilt the motor and put it all back in. So I think some shit maybe got in the cooler or something like that. So I think maybe doing another flush on the tranny and doing a larger cooler with the bigger braided line, all new lines and everything like that, is going to help maybe get rid of that transmission whine a little bit, because I pulled a pan on this tranny and there's nothing in the pan, and I mean nothing. Like, it is brand new looking. There's no metal, no fucking dust, nothing in this tranny pan. So I think the transmission's fine, and the shift's totally awesome still, everything like that. So yeah, we got to get that sorted out. And then I also fixed the idle on the car, because if you guys know, when I took the car out to Union Grove last, and we were out driving it, coming out of the burnout, the car would die, and I didn't know what the hell was going on with the idle, so I turned up the adaptive idle spark control on the Megasquirt here on the Tune. But it helped a little bit, but when I, like, you know, came out of the burnout all John Force like, and I was, you know, in the pedal, and then I lifted, all of a sudden it would you know, it would die. The car would die, and I would have to restart the car. So that was kind of annoying, and you know, not really good for it probably. So what I did to actually fix a lot of this stuff is the cranking duty, or wait, maybe it's So I took a lot of these tables, the closed loop initial idle values on the Mega Squirt. I don't know if you guys can see, but I cranked up these numbers here, and I cranked up the idle cranking duty steps as well. So like normally this table was, you know, it would go like this. When it got warmer, it would do less steps, and when it got hotter, or when it got colder, it would do more steps. So what I did is when it got warmer, I went up with the idle steps, and that did it right there. It literally comes down to like 900 and just sits there now, because what that table is doing is it's pretty much turning the idle motor, the thing that keeps the throttle blade open when you come off the gas to get the car back down to idle. It's making it work harder to keep the throttle open. So doing that definitely fixed the fucking idle issue. It never died on me once when I was driving it around, which is super awesome. Yeah, so it's weird because the car was always good when it was cold. Like, it wouldn't die on me when it was cold, but as soon as the car got up to temperature, you know, 180 degrees or whatever, it would start dying. And it would, you know, when you'd come off the fucking burnout or come off of the, you know, pass and let off the gas, the car would immediately die. And like I said, doing that fixed those issues, and cranking up the idle steps did it. So I'm super happy about that. And if you guys don't know, we did put a I think it's 850 cert cage in this thing. I got it from Rhodes Race Cars. They fit really well, and it's like $380 for all the pipes and everything that are all cut to fit already. And we got the 10-point cage in this sucker. So we got the hoop, the bars, the door bars. We have a halo bar up on top here, and then we have pillar bars that go down through the dash, going down that way. The only thing I don't like about the cage is when we welded it, the hoop does sit a little bit low. I don't know if that matters, like when you're getting teched or whatever, because it's not snug against the roof, which really bugs me. I can probably cut the hoop and then re-weld it back up solid again. But like I said, guys, the hoop kind of doesn't sit like 100%. So like, if you're looking at it from here, I also got to get rid of this caulk here. I want to spray paint this black and maybe tint the windshield so you can't see any of this caulk up here, the window caulk. But anyways, the hoop does sit kind of, I would say like a finger or two below the roof line. Like I said, I don't know if that's a big deal or if tech is going to give me a hard time about it. But other than that, the cage turned out really good when we did that. I got some street tires on it just to kind of drive it around, because my slicks are completely shot. I actually picked up a new set of weld wheels for it. I don't know, a bunch of shit, guys. I'm super happy with the car, and it's doing really well, and I'm just hoping that the motor's not hurt, because the last time we went out, it did spit some oil out of the valve covers. It doesn't smoke like excessively out of the valve covers, but it does have a little puff once in a while coming out of the valve covers, you know, on the breather ports there. So I'm hoping that isn't, you know, an issue of the motor being hurt. I don't think it is, because usually when you break a piston, it's gonna chooch out of the valve covers like bad. Even if one piston is broken, it's gonna chooch really bad out of the valve covers. So I think I just need to get a catch can set up for it, the tranny cooler, a converter, and I'm just gonna let this thing eat. Like, we're gonna give it some sauce. So I would like to get some studded tires built for it as well, which I might show you guys a little bit later here in the video of how I'm gonna be doing that. And hopefully we'll be all good to go. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of two-step action here. We're going to try to play with the settings a smidge bit more, but I'll show you the settings I currently have in the two-step. And yeah, so I currently have -10 degrees for the soft limit, retard to -10, that's what it says. Soft limit is 200 and the hard limit is 3,500. So it's gonna start bouncing at 3,500. And I also have, I have 0 for fuel addition here, so I might play with this a little bit, get a couple two-step clips here, and show you guys kind of what the car sounds like and what it is doing. And I'm gonna make a couple changes and see if I can make it any better or worse or whatever. So here we go. So anyways, we got the two-step as good as we can get it for now. If anybody does have some tips and tricks, be sure to message me or whatever on Facebook. I know there was a couple guys that messaged me, but I had a couple people message me, and I didn't get back to all of them. So possibly, you know, maybe we'll have to work on the two-step settings a little bit more because, I mean, it pops and bangs a little bit, but it takes forever to get up on the brake, and it takes forever to build boost. Like I had, like the last clip there, I think it built like 6 pounds of boost, which I want to be able to build like 10 or 12 pounds of boost on the trans brake, because then it'll go fast 60 foot. But anyways, Michael got his fucking motor back, huh? So Michael with the red Civic here, this is his D16 block that we are working on, and he got it back finally from working on it. He went to a buddy's house. They measured all the clearances with a micrometer and a you know, dial bore gauge and shit like that. So they measured all the clearances. What clearances did you end up going with?
The mains are .0025 to like .0028, and the rods are .0023 to .0025.
Okay, so it's mid twos on the clearance, which should be fine. Because if you guys know that the last time we put this car together, it spun a bearing like the fucking second day we had it out. But it was also bouncing on the rev limiter at like 8,500, which Michael wants to be able to do. So we have to go a little bit bigger on the clearances for his motor to be able to not spin bearings as easily. Plus they were the cheaper bearings, so these ones are a little bit harder material. These are the King Racing bearings. The last ones he had in here, the last time we had it out, was the cheaper, softer King bearings, which are like 40 bucks. So he went with the big boy bearings this time around, and yeah, he's gonna end up throwing this thing together one of these months. And
buy 3 sets of them.
What?
We'll buy 3 sets of bearings.
Yeah, he bought 3 sets of bearings to get the right clearances. Damn, single cams are so picky.
Hondas are picky.
So there she is, all assembled, ready to rip, eh?
You see that spider web that came out?
Oh yeah, that fucking assembly lube, eh?
Yeah, that's what Jake wanted to do. It spins over really fucking easy though.
I bet.
These are torqued down to 45. The girdle is.
Is that less than what you're supposed to?
More.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What's the spec?
38.
I feel like it's more than that. I think it's 48 or something.
38. A6s are 48.
Oh really?
Yeah, Y8s are...
It's the same shit. That's whatever.
A6 is that. Well, no, because we did it at 38, because that's what I found everywhere. And then the clearances were like 3. And I'm like, I've never had a problem with my mains.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Probably that's why, because they were fucking
Loose.
loose,
The
yeah.
rods kept getting started.
Yeah.
So now they're all very close to the same.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes. Gotta put the oil pump on, clean that out yesterday, or 2 days ago.
You cleaned your oil pump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Took it all apart.
Huh.
100% apart.
Nice.
And then put the pan on. And then I'm thinking I might put the motor in with the head off.
Oh really?
Yeah, because you could probably just drop it in.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, we are going to what?
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. I would like to get some stuff out at the storage unit here soon. I know I want to get the larger unit here soon, and I would like to get like a cheap toolbox out here and stuff like that, because Michael always takes his damn tools to work with him, and we don't have any damn tools out here. I literally was out here the other night looking for a ratchet for like an hour because we didn't have no tools out here. And I don't really want to bring all the tools from my house. I'd rather just like get a cheap toolbox and like make a toolbox for out here, because you know, especially if we get the bigger one, the dyno, whenever the dyno gets here, we're going to need tools out here. So, but like I said, I don't want to bring all the tools out here because I want to still be able to have stuff in my house kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'll just pull a Kyle Wade and go buy a brand new Husky toolbox.
That thing's nice though.
Yeah, it is really nice. Must be nice.
He just slams the door on. He's like, your snap-on doesn't have it. And I looked at it right away before he said it. I'm like, that's nice for snap-on. And then he goes, your snap-on doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Like, it's true. I have snap-on at work.
Yep.
They're like old-fashioned metal drawer that slam fucker shuts.
Yeah, but Snap-on, you get raped by the truck. And they say, oh, We'll finance you.
I do look forward to it every Friday.
Just pay $5 for 50 years.
I bought a die grinder, a valve stem tool, a retaining clip tool, something else, because I use it every single day.
Yeah.
And I think my bill is like $340, and I bought like 6 things.
Go to Harbor Freight and buy
Every
6
Friday,
things for $5.
I give them $50 every Friday.
Yeah.
Then they got the new 1/2-inch impacts out. I'm like, oh, I should buy one. And then you look at it, it's like $800 now.
Yeah. No
Fun fact for you though, you know Mac?
Yeah.
DeWalt, you know DeWalt?
Yeah.
Same company. DeWalt makes all of Mac's impacts. So you can use DeWalt batteries on Mac tools.
Oh, what rods are these?
P2POs.
P2P, no notch, right?
Custom lengths.
Well, people say the Speed Factory ones like don't need any notch.
They don't. But
Really?
They're not custom length, I don't think. And they're also like a halfway H-beam. These are like
Yeah, these ones come all the way to the top. I know that much.
Straight
But
up
the girdle you have to notch no matter what, I feel like.
Not Speed Factories.
What? How does the rod bolt fit?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I haven't bought one.
Does anybody have Speed Factory rods and did they have to notch?
They're the same height now. One's not lower.
Right?
What's up, Michael knew something was messed up with his motor when he pulled it out, and this one was like a 1/4 inch down.
Yeah. You know, supposedly that Chris Boyette guy said if you hit into the cylinder wall like that on the DevCon, it really defeats the purpose completely.
Sucks.
I think it's fine, but... Alright guys, so we are back at the house now, and I figured I would show you quick before I end the video off what I've been working on the last couple days. It's been a day or two since I actually filmed the last clip there at the storage unit, but I have been working on this customer's D16 A6 build that I've been talking about quite a bit. We did a high compression P29 piston with stock rods with ARP rod bolts, and here's the block. So this is the block that I got all assembled the other day, and this thing is looking awesome. I just got to throw the rear main and the oil pump back on it, and that thing will be all ready to go, and then the oil pan obviously. But I have been working on the cylinder head for like what seems like forever. What I ended up doing on the cylinder head is I did a kind of like a cleanup on the ports. I went to Walmart and I picked up a kind of like a basic porting kit. So like this thing you can buy at Walmart, and it comes with all the like different sanding discs and different grinding discs and all that kind of stuff. So I picked this up for like $10, which is really cheap, I thought, and it ends up working pretty good. I got a Harbor Freight rotary tool, like a Dremel tool from Harbor Freight, and the fucking thing's already burned out, which it kind of pisses me off, but whatever. It was $9, so I'll probably just end up returning it to get my money back. But anyways, got the cylinder head cleaned up really well, actually. I pretty much just wanted to go in there, and the guy said when he dropped the motor off that he just wanted me to clean the head up a little bit and kind of just smooth it out. It's just a basic port, nothing crazy. I told him flat out that I've never ported anything in my life, and he said, hey, just give it a go. You know, hopefully it turns out good, and it ended up turning out a lot better than I thought it was gonna. So this is the intake side of things, and I actually just kind of went through and I cleaned everything out as best as I could, but I just went in and I took the sanding discs and I kind of cleaned out the bumps and making sure that the head has a smooth flow into the head. Some people say that the bumps and stuff actually help atomize the fuel a little bit better. Some people say it's smooth is better. I mean, honestly, the porting world is like crazy. Some people say this is better. Some people say that is better. Whatever. I don't care. I just kind of wanted to clean this head up, get it cleaned up, and throw it all back together. So I relapped all the valves. So I went through on the bottom side here, and I took the valves with valve lapping compound, and I relapped all the valves into the seat. So I have all the valves sitting over here accordingly of where they came out of the hole, and these valves were disgusting when I pulled them out. They were so full of soot and carbon and bullshit that I kind of just wire wheeled all the shit off of it, and then I just kind of put it in the head, did some valve lapping, and they're all good to go now. So another thing that I did run into with this little motor is the valve springs I got for it are for like a Z6 head. So these springs that I got for this head are actually longer and narrower than the springs that came out of the A6. So the A6 has a specific spring combo that needs to work with it. So like on the left here is the Z6 aftermarket Brian Crower spring, and then this is the factory A6 spring. And as you can see there, this one's shorter and is also wider. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably just going to use the factory springs, because a lot of guys say that with a really mild cam, the factory springs are plenty good. And I've never honestly had issues with the factory springs on like a single cam. Even revving like 7,500 RPM, you don't usually run into valve float or anything like that. I talked to Brent from PFI. He said that the factory springs will be good. I talked to my buddy Kurt down in Madison. He said the stock springs will be good. I talked to a bunch of people. So a lot of people say that the stock springs should be good enough, and I think we'll be plenty fine with how mild the cam is and it being all motor. I really don't see a valve spring upgrade to be needed in this application. It's just going to be a dirt track race car, so you know, like I said, stock motor, you know, stock shit. Other than the D16 A6 build that I've been doing, I've been kind of messing around in the garage a little bit, doing a bunch of injector orders. I had to pick up some injectors, and I flowed, I think I got like 4 or 5 orders that I got filled today, and I got another order overnight here. So I have to do some more injectors tonight. If you guys are looking for injectors, I do have plenty of them in stock right now. You know, for the decap normal style injectors. If you guys want to support the channel and you are in need of injectors, or have a friend that is in need of fuel injectors or some tuning service help or anything like that, guys, I would greatly appreciate the business, as I plan on possibly getting the larger storage unit tomorrow. I think it'd be kind of cool to get that thing rolling and, you know, kind of get a shop rolling so we can get all the stuff moved into the new unit, hang up some new lights, get a toolbox out there, you know, bring some tools out there, all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be really cool to get that stuff rolling with the new storage unit. I'm super excited to be able to do this. We have issues out there though, because the ceilings are so high that it's going to be hard to hang like LED lights like the ones I have up in the garage here. It's going to be kind of hard to hang that style light in the storage unit there, because like I said, the ceilings are super high. I also want to build a loft at the storage unit and have storage above, so it's not taking up a bunch of floor space, because I want the floor space to be just for cars and the fucking dyno and shit. So anyways, I did want to give another quick shout out to Justin Page. He's been a Facebook friend of mine for a little while, and we kind of chit chat once in a while, and he actually reached out to me when I was in need of a VTEC solenoid for my CRX, and he reached out to me and sent me like a whole care package full of goodies. So this is just part of it. I have some of the stuff in the house still. He sent me like a bunch of stickers, a wideband. He sent me a wideband because I was in need of a wideband, so now I have. He gave me 2 extra sensors. One of the sensors was bad, but one of the sensors worked. So I used the one sensor, and he gave me a gauge that was good and part of a harness. So like he had a bunch of wideband parts, and he donated those over to the channel. So I can't thank him enough. He sent over some VTEC solenoids. We have a B series one here. We have, I don't know if these are like D series or like H series or something, but we have a couple of extra VTEC solenoids here. He sent over a bunch of these LED bulbs. I think these are like dash light or dome light bulbs, I'm pretty sure. There's like a whole mess of them in here, so that's pretty sweet of him to send over some of this extra stuff he had laying around. Like I said, I think these are like, maybe these are blinker bulbs. They kind of look like blinker bulbs or like taillights. There's a whole bunch of them. Here's the dash lights. They're like little guys in the box here. So these are like the smaller ones. I don't know exactly what the smaller ones are for. Like I said, they might be for the cluster, like gauge cluster or something like that. There's green, blue. Sweet. So anyways, that's super cool of him, man. I'm going to leave these around here in the toolbox or something, because I would like to spice up the gauge cluster in one of the cars, I'm sure, or my truck. I think that'd be sweet if these would fit my truck. Spice that up a little bit. But anyways, he did send over some stuff, and I can't thank him enough. I appreciate anybody that sends in fan mail to Hunter Tuned. If you guys are interested in sending fan mail over my way, whether it be car parts or you know, just something you want to donate over to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys so think you would like to. It's kind of funny. McCreary Racing on YouTube actually sent me over a VTEC solenoid as well because I needed a few of them. He sent me a VTEC solenoid, Justin sent me one, and then another guy sent me one. And McCreary Racing actually won a raffle today on Joey Fowler, his Facebook page. He was giving away a turbo manifold, and McCreary Racing won it. And I'm like, no shit, dude, that is crazy, because he sent over the VTEC solenoid to me, donated it over, and then he got a free turbo manifold from Joey Fowler, which is super cool. And I messaged him, and he messaged me, and he's like, hey man, I won this manifold. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And I told him, I'm like, dude, good comes around. You know what I mean? Like, that is super cool. And, I feel like good karma comes back around, bad karma comes back around. And, you do good, good will come. You do bad, bad will come, kind of thing. And that's super awesome of him, because I'm super happy that he was fortunate enough to win that turbo manifold, because, I don't know, it made me happy fucking seeing that. So, anyways, enough jibber-jabbering. I'm hoping to get the dyno. I'm hooking up with Chris Sadowski, and he's going to message me tomorrow, I think, and let me know if all the details, if he can go get my dyno for me with a truck and trailer, and then we should be able to freight transport it from his work to somewhere up here. I'm hoping all this fucking shit works. If you guys made it to the end of this damn video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, blah blah blah, hit the bell, blah blah blah, ding ding ding, and fucking leave a comment down below what you guys want to see. Do you want me to get the bigger unit right away and make some content with the shop and kind of upgrading the shop and putting a toolbox there and doing all that kind of stuff? I feel like that would be some cool content maybe to show you guys. I don't know what you guys want to see. Let me know. I do plan on doing some stuff soon here, so lots of stuff coming. Be sure to fucking stick around to fucking see awesome stuff instead of this boring ass video. But anyways, have a good night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.